Welcome to Tavern Tales. Today's tale, courtesy of Koi Sparrows. Am I the antagonist for making fun of my partner's hair loss? The title sounds bad, I know. This has been an ongoing argument between my partner and I for almost 6 months now. I feel like I'll never hear the end of it. Backstory: I, 23 female, am a naturally fair-skinned girl. I'm also cursed with pretty dark body hairs, which makes upkeep a complete pain. I shave my legs, and 2 days later, I have dark prickles of hair that I can't shave again for 1.5 weeks or so without causing some pretty painful razor burn. It is something that has bothered me for a long time, as it takes away a lot of my freedom in the warmer seasons, and I have to pick and choose what events I can show my legs at. This year, I was invited to go with my partner, 28 male, to his family's Christmas Day lunch, which I was pretty excited for. A few days before the lunch, my partner and I were also invited to a New Year's Day pool party at his friend's place, Southern Hemisphere for anyone confused here. Of course, this filled me with dread, because I knew that by this point, my legs would look freaking terrible in a swimsuit. I decided to go to both, and found a gorgeous summer maxi dress to wear for New Year's Day. I thought I'd just relax by the pool on a banana lounge, and also help the host organize the barbecue lunch. After the lunch, I was laying out with a few of the other ladies, while our partners were all mucking about in the pool doing cannonballs. My friend's partner, 25 male, asked why I wasn't swimming, and I let him know I just wasn't feeling like it that day and I'd rather lay in the shade. At this point, my partner got back out of the pool, and I assumed he was going to jump back in like usual. Instead, he came over to me, lifted up the bottom of my dress, revealing my legs, and exclaimed, "She isn't swimming today because she is as hairy as a bear." I grabbed my dress and pulled it back down, quite embarrassed, and shot him a very angry look. There was a few chuckles, but mostly awkward silence. I was mortified. He knows how self-conscious I am about this. In my anger, I then bit back and said, "Maybe we can transplant some of my leg hair to that nice bald patch you've been brewing." This was also met with a few chuckles, followed by even more awkward silence. My partner then stormed off from the pool and went inside to get dry. He got changed into his dry clothes and came out and said that we're leaving. I felt really bad, especially for the host, so I apologized to them and said they could keep my salad bowls I had brought over. My partner and I have never spoken about his hair loss before. When I said this, I did know that it likely bothered him, being that I found photos on his phone of him taking pictures of the top of his head, where the hair loss had started. I just felt it was hypocritical that he could create this whole situation, and my insecurity wasn't off limits, but his is? I know I didn't handle myself the best here. Am I the antagonist? In regards to my partner, I'm going to try and have an open conversation with him one more time. My intention is to either communicate and clear the air, or I will be leaving him. I won't be telling him that second part, obviously. Not sure if I should show this to him yet. I think the boyfriend is the antagonist. It's hard to judge the degree of personal insults, as it is extremely subjective. What you think is harmless may be the other person's worst insecurity. And you definitely cannot be the one to judge if a joke is too far or not. Additionally, if you are going to dish out insults, you should be ready to take one back. Here's some additional information. He doesn't do this sort of things often. I'm thinking that maybe alcohol could have been a factor. He wasn't drunk by any means, but he had drank a couple that day, which is an infrequent thing for him. To this day, he still refuses to seek medical assistance for the hair loss, which is ironic in itself because the sooner you address it, the more likely it can be reversed. He's still so young, and it's just a circular patch at the crown. He has let past health issues get pretty chronic before I practically forced him to do something about it. He's pretty useless at looking after himself. It's just hard to be tactful with certain things, but I've done really well with it in the past. There is no way in hell he thought I'd find that joke funny. But maybe, if giving him the benefit of the doubt, he could have thought I wouldn't be that bothered by it. I don't know. I've cried about it to him before. For the longest time, I've had to choose between social events and shortened vacations just because of this. He definitely knows how much it bothers me. Now, let's hear the community's opinions. Not the antagonist. I laughed out loud at your response. It was perfect. You need a new boyfriend. He intentionally went out of his way to point out that your legs are as hairy as a bear, thinking it's funny, and then when you give back the absolute perfect response, he couldn't handle it. It really seems like he has an issue with you not shaving more frequently. Tell him to shave his legs every day. See how it makes his skin feel. Antagonists like him are why I enjoy being single. It is never okay to poke fun at something they know the other person is sensitive about, but when they do, you have a perfect response. But new boyfriend, one that accepts your hairy legs. Nothing wrong with the little hair. No double standards or anything, right? Shake my head. Not the antagonist. There is no universe where it's okay for him to punish you over this for 6 months without acknowledging his own responsibility in how things went down. It was not a random insult. It was a retaliation, and he earned it. Also, and this may not help, but I'm really jealous of your dark pigmented hair. I've struggled with the hair on my face for over a decade now, and I'd give anything for it to be dark because then laser would be at least an option. Just to say that someone out there envies you. Not the antagonist. After reading all your comments, OP, I would like to stress your issue is larger. He has poor/no communication, and you will always be the adult in the relationship. Yeah, I've been there. It seems no big deal in the beginning, you feel like a loving partner at first. Then, it can become a very one-sided constant pressure to be responsible for all the important concerns. Health, communication, planning for the future. I just ask you, evaluate your relationship and see if that's the situation you're in now. And now, here's a quick update. I sat him down when we both finished work, and he came over just a little over an hour ago. It was a very short conversation. I started the conversation by stating that I would like to clear the air and resentment in the relationship. His response to this was, "Are you going to finally apologize?" I just about died inside. I asked him what I should be apologizing for, and he said the comments I made about his hair at the New Year's party. I then suggested that perhaps we should apologize in sequence of events, so he should go first. He said that there is no way he is apologizing to me after what I said because I crossed the line. I asked him, what about him crossing the line with my boundaries and humiliating me? He said it isn't the same because I could have just shaved that off and be done with it, whereas his situation could be permanent. I said that my situation would have remained permanent if I didn't do something about it. He then went quiet and started to shut down, telling me he doesn't want to talk. I told him I don't want his company if he can't have an adult open conversation with me. He left. I will be dumping him tomorrow. I didn't sign adoption papers. I never wanted this man baby. Unfortunately, things didn't work out between the two. It's baffling to me how the boyfriend feels so entitled to an apology and probably did not pause to reflect even once on how he might just be in the wrong. Even when our traveler reminded him that he was the instigator of this whole situation, but instead, he tried to twist and turn logic to fit his own narrative. I think he made the right decision to break up with them, and hopefully, you'll find the right person in the future. And that's a wrap for tonight. Be sure to visit us next time. And if you want to, leave a like and subscribe.